Okay. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, friends. My name is Elijah Nava. I'm doing a video to critique the work titled The Impact of Horizontal Mergers on Research and Development and Patenting Evidence from Merger Challenges in the US. The first question really has to do with motivation and if the author motivated the paper. I'm not quite sure they were very explicit about this. I think it's actually left for readers to figure it out. From my perspective, I think the authors did motivate the paper because they're just doing something new. The type of sample selection analysis has not been done by anyone before. So, to the extent that they're doing something that is new, I think that's quite commendable, and that for me is a good motivation. I mean, this is going to vary from scholar to scholar. Analysts will look at it from very different perspective. But from the way I see it, doing something new that hasn't been done before, using sample selection analysis that hasn't been used before is quite novel. On literature review, I think they did quite an amazing job. From theoretical literature to empirical literature. Did they add something new? Yes, they did add to empirical evidence on the effect of mergers on innovation using computer level data. Originally, previous work that have been done here focused on they focused directly on market concentration directly. The measure were basically on market concentration, but here the authors used mergers challenged by policy authorities to identify, identity cases of concerns about increased market concentration. So yes, they did add to empirical literature on the work they did. Looking at the way they laid out their hypothesis, I actually think that it was good because they were very clear about it that this is to test a theory that elevated levels of market concentration adversely affect the firm's R&D. So I think it's okay because usually in impact evaluation, the expectation is that you're spending time and looking at the before and after effect. So the way they laid it out, I think I'm quite comfortable with it. I don't have a problem with that at all. On the impact of or the data that is used, there is an issue of biasness. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think that there could be because the data consists of 78 firms, of which 47 of them merged between 1996 and 2008. That's just about 12 years. The sample period is shorter, actually. I think that if it was a bit longer, maybe the outcome might have been different. I really don't know, but it's just a concern. Of course, there can be selectivity bias due to unobserved variables, but the bias can always be eliminated by calculating the before and after, differences in the case the bias is time constant. So that's really not an issue. On the author's methods, they employed the propensity score matching as well as the difference in differences approach. This is one of the best, or this sequence is typically the best you can employ for any method of impact evaluation. So usually when you combine the propensity score matching as well as the difference in differences, it gives a very reliable result. So this is also quite an amazing job as well. On their findings, I think the findings were very explicit. The results indicate that the post-merger innovation outcomes of firms whose mergers were challenged are lower, are lower than they would have been had they not been merged. But for firms whose mergers were not challenged, innovated differently from, innovated no differently, meaning the innovations, before and after, if, there was actually no major difference in their innovation after merger than they would have had they not merged. The last one has to do with what suggestions can I put forward. I think that they should clearly state the motivation, so it's very clear and not left for the reader to figure out. Usually motivation should be very clearly so that everybody that reads it will obviously pick what the motivation is. I think that's one of the first things I think they need to do. And of course, for there's also need for extension. This is basically not for the author, basically it's obviously for the other scholars that would be interested in extending this study, basically. I think that's just my concern. I'm fine with the literature. I'm very fine with the way they laid out the hypothesis. Just a little bit concerned of biasness. Methodology is very super, and then of course findings were very explicit. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I did extend the timing, but I will improve next time. Thank you very much.